Right now, I'm getting ready for work, and in getting ready for work, I notice that the stock indexes are down in a massive, massive way. And the interesting part of all this is how they're performing. And so, if you haven't heard already, which I'm sure you have, you've probably heard the reason why these indexes are down so violently, and that is because Russia just invaded Ukraine in pretty much an all out full scale war. Now, if we look at the day charts for all of these, if you look at the Dow, it is down dramatically from previously hitting its all time highs. This is the Dow ETF, by the way, not the actual Dow index, but from hitting the Dow ETF high of 369.50. Today it hit a low of 322. If you look at the SPY, it is $479.98, and it goes all the way down to 410.64 as of today's drop. The Nasdaq, now officially in bear market territory, goes from 408.71 from 318.43. From the Nasdaq ETF, drops almost $100 a share. And then we have the IWM, the Russell 2000 ETF. This one dropped from a high of $244.46 to today's new low of 187.92. Now, as of right now, from the time I'm filming this, the market has been open, let's see, 19 minutes and some change. You can see from the bottom of the screen. And the interesting part of this is that with my four stocks, they're down, but relatively speaking, for being most of them being small cap growth stocks, they're actually not as down as you'd probably think. And I got to be honest, I found this quite shocking. I honestly expected most of my stocks to be down 5% plus. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to stop right there. And if you haven't seen me before, my name is Jordan. I'm a millennial investor. My plan is to get to $1 million by the age of 40 by hitting these very hard goals, which I probably won't be able to do, especially if we keep on having red days like today. But regardless, I'm going to show my performance no matter what, and we're going to go over my four stocks. But nonetheless, if you like these videos and you want to help support my channel, you can get $50 for using the link down below. 125 people have signed up so far, so just go down below, click the link, and you can help get $50 to help buy the dip in this market crash. Now, of all my stocks, we'll go ahead and look at the performance so far. Now we're about 20 minutes or so into the open. Chewy is down now about 1%. We have iRobot, which is almost exactly flat. It's down 1 penny. We have Corsair Gaming down about 3%. And then we have CleanSpark also down about another 3% or so. Now, the interesting part of all of this is that if we go to the indexes and we look at all four of these, this is normally the complete opposite from what you would find. Normally, you would find the Dow being the one that's the most conservative, being one that almost never goes down heavily during any given day compared to the other indexes. Well, compared to the four, it is down the most, currently down 2.15%. Now, if you look at the SPY, it is the second worst performer. The golden child of ETFs, which is the S&P 500, is down 1.68% from the time that I'm filming this. Now, what's interesting, the two best performers. Now, obviously, everything's down, but in terms of what percentages are down the most, you have the NASDAQ and you have the Russell 2000 down the least. You have the QQQ down 1.47%, and then you have the Russell 2000 only down 1.39% from the time I'm filming this. The weirdest part of all this is that when you have a time like where war is happening, when Russia is invading Ukraine, you would expect the Russell 2000 and especially the NASDAQ, you would expect those two to be down the most dramatic, and they're outperforming these two other indexes. This is really a funky market. You can also see Bitcoin has dropped dramatically overnight. From when the news was announced, it was about 39,000, dropped all the way to 34,000 and some change, and now it is sitting right about 35,500 or so. But anyways, guys, the thing I just wanted to make this quick video about, I just wanted to mention the reason why you should invest and you should stay invested, is that if you look at these indexes on their day charts and you look over the last couple of months, is that when you think about what this war could potentially do to America, when you think about what this war could potentially do to our economy, and you see times where the Russell 2000 is down, what is that, about 22, 23% from its all-time highs. You see QQQ down officially in bear market territory, down right around 20% or so, and then you have the SPY. It is now down, I think, 13, 14% off its highs from the time I'm filming this, and then the NASDAQ, now you have the Dow Jones also down in correction territory as well, down over 10%. I think the big question is here, Where do we go from here? I have to admit, I was completely wrong in thinking that Ukraine was not going to be invaded by Russia. I thought Russia was just making this big flex. I thought they were trying to make oil prices go up. And that's even another funny thing is that you have oil companies. Oh, if I can get it pulled up. Yeah. Chevron is actually down today. Shockingly enough, a time when oil is skyrocketing, you actually have companies like Chevron. And let's look at ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil is actually down today. You have times when commodities are skyrocketing, the one thing that derives the actual value of these companies, and they're down. It makes no sense. This is a completely upside down market, but that leads me to where I think we're going from here. And wow, the index is actually starting to recover quite nicely, a lot better than I thought they would. And I guess that goes to my very point that I'm about to make here. When you look at times where all these indexes are in correction territory, bear market territory, and we have a strong economy, where do we move forward from here? Because this is what I consider to really be one of the worst case scenarios. Over these last couple of months, when you look at when the SPY started to drop, right around here-ish, around late January, early February, what people were really starting to price in was the possibility of Russia invading Ukraine. We've known about this for weeks and weeks now. But now that it's actually happened, what do we actually have to fear? Okay, so I mean, yeah, we could break into a full-scale World War III, that could happen, but really, at the end of the day, the worst thing that could have just happened, happened. Now, I'm not saying that the bottom's going to be today. I'm not saying that the bottom's going to be tomorrow. But in the same way that the initial shock of this news sends the S&P ETF down to 411, and now it's already recovered back to 415, this is obviously a very short time window, but the point I'm trying to make is that once you've priced in the worst of all worst news, anybody that has been scared about Russia, or now is scared of Russia, has already sold out. And I think that's why you look at my companies, which have been beaten far harder than the market. When you look at companies like CleanSpark that have been beaten down all the way from $23 down to $5, where it was just a couple months ago, about a month or so ago, where's the sellers? Who's left to sell this stock? When you look at Corsair Gaming from a year ago being a $51 stock and now just the other day being a $17 stock, there's really no sellers left in this market. The same thing for iRobot. We just hit a new low literally today from being almost a $200 stock all the way down to the 50s. From Chewy being a $120 company now to hitting a new low. Actually, I guess it held up just a little bit from being $96.70. I mean, at what point do these companies go up again? When you have a company like all four of these, they're hitting record after record revenue every single year, almost every single quarter for most of them, and yet their company prices continue to go down. And so when I think you think about the worst case scenario for these stocks, I think it just happened. You have interest rate fears, you have supply chain worries, you have war fears with Russia, which has mounted to an absolute maximum. Pretty much the worst thing that could happen, happened. And so where do we go from here? I think we are very close to a bottom. If I had to call right now where I think the bottom will be, if I had to guess, I believe it'll be between now and the end of March. Now, I know that's a very bold claim. It very well may not happen. This is just a guess. I don't have a crystal ball. I could be completely wrong, and I don't like to make short-term decisions. But in terms of where I think the stock market will bottom, I think it's likely between now and the next 30 days, if not even maybe between now and the next couple of weeks. But other than that, guys, I'm going to stay invested. I'm going to continue to buy these companies and hold on to the fort that I have. Good Lord, if I don't get margin called, if we could just have a couple green days here. But regardless, if you want to get $50 for getting signed up, help you buy the dip on this market crash, M1 Finance is the perfect place to do that. The link is down below in my description, and you get $50 for signing up. But other than that, guys, stay strong, stay safe, keep your head on, don't make emotional decisions for both buying or selling. Just get in a place where you can try to be as stable as possible and weather the storm. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.